Pat Dixon and Pat Dixon and Collins for four-ways.
Okay, we hashed this over pretty well the other night and talked about getting our street superintendent to get the rumble strips installed and the various signage and whatnot necessary. I think this is ready for a motion. Mr. Bloodworth, you want to make a motion that we get this taken care of?
I'll make the motion that we approve
Fix
the four-way.
Four-way stop
Yes.
with, yeah. All right, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'm gonna take and, just put this out there as food for thought when we start to do these. There's the caution light, Charles Rogers and Pat Dixon there. We need to take and make it a flashing four-way stop. I mean, we need to make sure we do that or either take it down, one or the other. I don't know which one, but we need to take and make sure that we get the caution lamps out of there for sure before we ever do anything with it, or either take them totally dead in it, because we don't want to have the misconception.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we need to really look at when we're doing the four-way out at Pat Dixon and Collins. I don't know when's the last time y'all rode by and looked at that intersection there, the way it's set up and whatever else with the turning lanes and whatever. We really need to do some look before we even start to put anything in there as to how we're gonna do it. We don't just need to go out there and put a four-way stop up and some flashing lights on it, you know what I'm saying? Because the way the turning lanes are set up and marked off on it, the road widens out pretty good. But we need to look at it good, we need to make sure that we do all of our due diligence before we even put rumble strips out there. You know what I mean? I just wanna make y'all aware of how it looks. 'Cause
I
rode out-
spoke to Jeff on that, and he said before we go to ordering anything and look at it, he wanted to really go over it, and so it'll be a little while before we get everything in place.
Right.
So he's already been made aware of it.
Okay, I just wanted to make the council aware of what we're looking at out there, especially, the one especially out at the Collins and Pat Dixon. Okay? We need to really make sure we look at it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, any further discussion?
Just for the benefit of the audience, just that we discussed, or Police Chief Williams discussed the importance of putting up the rumble strips before we put up the stop sign. We put up stop signs at the other four-way stop and no rumble strips, and we had a couple of accidents, and so he encouraged that we get the rumble strips in first. And then, so I guess Jeff knows
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah, we discussed that already.
And secondly, I want everybody to understand this is, hopefully, is temporary. If we have, the council voted to seek a grant from the Department of Transportation to put roundabouts in those two intersections, and we have an engineering firm working on it. And as I said the other night, Blake Tillery, our state senator, called me and said that he was trying to help, but he called DOT, and DOT said that they were told that we were planning to do something else, and that's not true. So we've got a communication problem, and I think I need to contact our 3 state representatives to make sure they realize that whoever told them that DOT that we're planning to do something else was in error. So.
Okay, I think, and let me add a little something to that as well. We talked about the roundabouts, and I think the roundabouts are a great idea. We've got a lot of people that don't think they are, but I personally, the ones that I'm familiar with, they're good, and they're right snazzy, and I sort of like them being an old surveyor. I like the way they're laid out. But at any rate, in order to try to get this done, because we were all pretty much on this council in favor of getting that done, I began to get with the DOT commissioner in Atlanta and then with his staff, and I found out that Jay Roberts, a friend of mine, was the one that handled that funding and got the grants and everything to handle roundabout. So I got in touch with Jay, and when I called him, by the way, I think he was in Louisiana somewhere. He said, "Man, I'm in Louisiana, but I'll get the division engineer and his staff to come see you and try to help you with it." So Jay Roberts, and through the commissioner in Atlanta, got the division engineer and his staff that's involved in traffic and other things, and they met with me at both of those stations out there. And I told them what we wanted to do, and they said here again, my word, but perhaps against theirs, I don't know where the miscommunication is. They seem to think that the application was probably a little bit more than they thought we'd be able to handle. They also was very, said, "Bain, I don't think you're going to ever get the funding for it." I said, "Well, let's try anyway. There's nothing, if you make the right kind of move, you can, there's still a line item in the budget in Atlanta. And if somebody, if Carl or whoever's working with him and these legislators decide they want to help us bad enough, they can get a line item in the budget with the state government and help us get those things, because a lot of things are done that way. So when I left DOT, there was no such thing as that, there was other plans. They just told me what the groundwork was, what they were going to do, and I asked them to continue to let's look at it and see what we could do. But that's the way, when I left it, unless somebody else just met with them, that's the way it was left. I've made a mistake wanting to change the agenda. Myself, I have failed, I have ignored 4A.
You have voted on 4A.
Oh, yeah, we gotta get, keep me straight. We've got a motion and a second, and all this discussion got me sidelined here a little bit. We've got a motion and a second that we approve the installation of the four-way stops contingent upon perhaps us getting the other things done at a later time. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Now then, if you'll work with me, let's go back, that was item 5. Let's go back and handle 4A. The Heart of Georgia Regional Commission does a lot of things for us. Regional commissions all over the state, a lot of times when they were first organized, everybody was afraid of them because they thought they were going to be other arms of government. They were afraid they'd take away from the authority of the counties and the cities. But anyway, through the years, the regional commissions have been a real asset to all of us. And they perform a service, all sorts of service. And Ms. Lopez, why don't you tell them what that service is?
This is in regards to the 2017 license fee billing for insurance company. Georgia law allows each municipal corporation who has a certified copy of their municipality's ordinance on file with the Commissioner of Insurance to impose an annual license fee upon insurance companies for the privilege of engaging in the business of insurance within the municipality. And this will, last year they assisted 32 cities in the collections of license fees from insurance companies. This saves a lot of time and expense for the municipality to do this, and they basically do it, and the fee for each year is like $350.
Minor cost. I entertain a motion that we approve letting Heart of Georgia Regional Commission do this service for us.
I make a motion.
Mr. Griffiths made the motion that we engage the Heart of Georgia to handle this for us. Is there a second? Second and thirded. Okay. Any further discussion?
This is, and now, just to note and everything, this is just a continuation of something we've always done. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not some new program or anything else, it's just something we're continuing.
And they don't, sometimes we may overlook one, and they've got means by which no one's overlooked, and it's worth the $350. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none is carried. So engage the CM for us.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now then, we're back in line. Where's the chief? Who's handling? We had we've got 3 items. We've got the K-9 unit, the hiring of a police officer, and a clerk going for, police clerk going for training.
He's with the parade. But the only thing he wants to know, I mean, I'll handle the items
Okay,
for number 7, as far as the K-9. He told us the other night that the one we have has failed to qualify, and we need to make a move to get rid of it. But he also wanted to know if he could replace it. Maybe not at this time, you know, first of the year.
well, I asked the question last Monday night when we were here in the work session. The county has one, and I believe this is a working qualified dog, is it not?
I think so.
That's according, and he said that he could during this time work with the county, and that there was, perhaps we could, not worry about this at this time. The next item, number 7, Mr. Bloodworth.
Wants to know if he can send someone to school with the state paying for the tuition. to the police academy, starting in January.
And he also said that this wasn't something we needed to act on right away.
Right, that's correct.
We need to know by at least December,
That's correct, that's correct.
Do we think we'd be better off just to table these two items until November session?
Won't you make that in the form of a motion, Mr.
I'm
Griffin?
making an motion that we take and table item 7. and-
6,
No, we've already done 6.
the K-9, that's the K-9.
K-9, 7, 8, police.
Something wrong with mine?
Okay, but, no, anyway, the, 6 and 7, we can table them.
Right.
And
But
to
we've got a
a later
motion
date.
by Mr. Griffin that we table for a period of time, items 6 and 7, the K-9 dog acquisition and the sending the person to police officer training in Tifton. Is there a second to this motion? Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion about tabling these two items? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I will declare these two items tabled. The number 8 item is there, many of you probably know, the longtime clerk who served us well over for years, Deborah Carnegie. She's been in the police department for I don't know how many years, but she's been there a long, long time. There's some training that she needs to have on Jekyll Island, November the 2nd and the 3rd. I entertain a motion that we approve Ms. Carnegie's training.
Make a motion to approve the training.
Mr. Glover's made the motion, we approve Deborah Carnegie's training again on November the 2nd and 3rd. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Griffin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. All right, this is another item, John, you ought to handle this, the grant writing class for Mr. Ben Glosson.
Yes, I'll make the motion that he attend the training course.
All right, this, for the benefit of the audience, the chief of police has suggested that Mr. Ben Glosson be sent to a grant writing training course in November in Marietta, Georgia, and we've got a motion that this be approved. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded to send Mr. Glosson to grant writing school. Any discussion relative to this matter? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor of sending Mr. Glosson to grant writing school on November the 16th and 17th in Marietta, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Where are we now?
Number 10.
10, I didn't want to leave out the, okay, back, and we still haven't figured, did you get any more information on why this invoice is so late?
Yes, sir, I did
Okay.
talk to a gentleman by the name of Tony with Douglas Asphalt, and he was approached while they were working on the streets over there. I call it around Radio Street, Douglas Street area, to do some paving and restriping of the streets. He cannot give me a definite explanation as to why we did not receive an invoice. He just cannot give me an explanation. His understanding was that it was placed in someone's hand to be brought to the office. Where it went to from there, I do not know, and neither does he.
Hey, I went over to this, where this is at and everything, on Pineland and everything. Now, Pineland itself was not paved. The way the invoice is written out, it says intersection paving the street and restriping the entire street. Paving the street was not done. There was two intersections, one at the end of Graham, Douglas, Graham, and the other one, but the street itself was not paved, but now it was restriped from end to end, I do know that. But, I mean, this invoice is kind of a little misleading, the way it says intersection paving the street and restriping the entire street. Restriping, yes. Intersection paving, yes. But now, paving the street, no, they didn't do it, so I mean, like I said, but now, I don't know, this is a year-old invoice that we're just getting now, and I mean, if we owe them the money, we owe them the money, but we need to make sure that we're paying for what they did.
I just have a problem with that invoice without knowing, if you do this invoice, what to say that other ones is out there the same way. you can't do, I don't have a business, but I don't think you do business like that. Before this amount of money is paid, I think that the attorney or somebody ought to look at it and find out what's going on or what happened and make sure that we owe that amount.
Well, let me insert something here, because I'm the one, whatever you call it, in the wood pile. I was over there, we had a community development block grant, to do a lot of sewer work and repair over in that area, which involved every street over there. After you get off the Douglas Highway, every one of them in the little cross streets. Also, Bell Street was resurfaced from Douglas Highway to Knoxville Highway over there. Well, I got down to the end of that, everything was paved and being striped. And at the end of these streets, like Eric has mentioned, it was just really rough. There was a lot of damage, and particularly a bad spot over on where Pineland hit the Snipesville Highway. So I got with the guy and I said, look, this time the financial situation was not like it was now. We had a considerable fund in our Street Splosh Fund. I said, let me ask you this, would you blend this in, because a lot of places Pineland was in good shape, would you blend in these rough, bad spots, these streets, and go up to Snipesville Highway, and where that's the trucks and all coming, that had it in a mess. And then when you get through, since everything is striped, we'll have all of this area taken care of, so we'll have to worry about it for several years. It'll all be in good shape. So I obligated us, so y'all gonna have to pay it, or I'm gonna have to pay it. And you get any attorney you want to, or whatever you want to do in there. But I made the commitment as mayor, and I probably should have got with y'all, and I won't deny that. But at any rate, I made that decision that we spend the $5,800 to blend in and have everything in that area taken care of and paved and striped. And either y'all got to pay it or I have.
I'll make a motion to pay the invoice.
Got a motion to pay the invoice. Is there a second? Okay, it dies without a second, so I guess I'll have to pay it.
No, I think,
No.
I think that this is poor bookkeeping, not on your side, but on the company. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
I think you done it right, but I think that we need to make sure that there's no more there, that when we take care of that one, 'cause we owe it.
I can't believe that the people felt that we didn't get an invoice.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And I should have, it seemed like I would have remembered it, but I'll tell you what, I'll soon be 50 years old, and a 50-year-old don't operate like a 25-year-old does.
From a legal standpoint, I think Commissioner Griffin has raised a valid point. I think y'all need to have them send another invoice itemized.
Yeah.
If it's saying paving the street, that seems to me, that would be a significant cost.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know anything about paving, but out of these three things, that would be the most expensive thing. And if it wasn't paid, they may have some mix-up on their own billing.
And they may
let
have.
them go back and itemize it and bring it back before the council and look at it.
With the length of Pineland as it is, knowing what I know about the cost of paving, it would have been several more $1,000s if they had paved the entire street. That's the paving and the blending and the striping of what they did.
Well, it's still worth taking and talking to them
Yeah.
and doing it before we take and just say, here's $5,800. I mean, nobody said you need to pay this bill, Mayor. What we're trying to do is take and, they were delayed in giving it to us. Let's just do our due diligence. Let's
All right.
make sure that there's not nothing else underlying before we take care of it.
All right, would you take charge of handling that for us?
If I can possibly do it, I will.
All right,
I'll take the
I'm
call if I
gonna
got
ask
to.
you to look after it for us.
All right.
I'm sure Ms. Lopez will help you.
All right.
All right, maybe we...
May I say something?
Sure.
While I'm not a member of this council, I do serve in the capacity of city clerk. The one thing that we ladies in the office desire to do, we do not like for invoices to be hand-brought in. They need to be mailed or delivered in an envelope so that we can keep up with it. We have stamps in there that has received and a date. That is more of a tracking method for us, and we know what's going on to help you get these bills paid in a timely fashion.
Well, I can assure you, they never gave me an invoice.
I mean, we have
Yeah.
them hand-delivered a lot of the time.
I assume that they would have invoiced us and why I waited a year, I don't know, I'm sorry. Okay, we've got this, so we're gonna handle this and bring it up
Take care of it.
on next month's bill. Okay, just say wait a year, I don't think one more month will hurt. All right, good enough, thank you, Eric, for handling that. All right, let's move on, where are we? Okay, we are now to the event of the evening. I'll preface this by saying all of you on the golf course committee and involved with the golf course, I'm very proud of where the golf course is. It is now a very good, playable, pleasant, little 9-hole golf course in our little town, and I'm proud of it. I was involved in the grubbing out of that thing when it was changed from a sand course to the course that we went with the USDA and got a loan to do that back in the late 60s, early 70s. And I've been dedicated to that golf course all along. As some of you may or may not know, David, stand up if you will. Mr. Haney has been in Hazelhurst now for several, that's good, thank you. Mr. David Haney's been here, and he's responsible for a lot of the good things that happen out of the course. But David has found greener pastures, and Mr. Haney's going to be leaving us, and so we have a vacancy out there. Then you're going to be missed, David, and we do appreciate you a lot. With David leaving and knowing the financial situation of the golf course, Linwood, chairman of the golf course committee, and I sat down and met in my office and discussed the financial situation. And we have tentatively, he and I sort of said that we would work in a direction that, particularly since it's fall and the winter months are ahead, and the laborious duties of the course aren't quite as heavy as they are in the spring and the summer, of course it still requires a lot of work, that we can probably get by without doing a replacement of David for a period of time, particularly since he's going to give us a lot of free labor. He's going to still be a part of the community and counsel and work with us. But at any rate, I thought it would be well that those of you, we've got a lot of members of the golf committee here that are loyal to it, and we wanted you to come and before us, and let's discuss our situation and encourage the council, because we're sitting here obligated for the funds that we have to expend. The figures been given to me, and our accountant's not here, but the figures have been given to me, the counting equipment and everything that we've done at the golf course since we've taken it over, that we have expended about $500,000, close to it. And we haven't taken in, we've spent right at $500,000 out there. Now that's the figures been given me, all to put that in quotes. With all that's including all the equipment. But at any rate, now with the course like it is, it's come a long way, and I think we're all proud of it. But it still looks like it's showing somewhere. If you'll look, and I've got the budget here. If you look at the budget, it's got a $190,000 a year budget. That's what David and I and others working with the golf course to put down based upon the operation. It looks like it's $190,000. If y'all take in, if we take in 90,000, we'll be lucky. So we're showing a $100,000 a year deficit out there. Now, Linwood came by me, and I was right generous in trying to help, and I don't know what all y'all done, but at any rate, I don't think our community has really decided that they're going to help us keep that course. They're going to let us do it if they think that they can get by with it. And to be honest with you, I love this town as much or more than you do, but they're going to sit there on their behind and let us have to cave in because we can't handle it now. Our wagon's loaded, and we've got to have some help. Another thing, I had David today get me, and this shocked me. I got him to get me a list of the members of our golf club. You know, I deal in general terms, there's about 20 names on this list. Now, you mean to tell me that we spent $500,000, got the town of about 5,000 people playing golf, and we've only got 20 people that are willing to commit and pay annual dues? Of course, the corporation is, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that give very handily, and if it were not for them, I don't know what we'd do. What's that? Yeah, okay. But anyway, that's just sort of a preface to where we are, and you've heard me talk, and I'm hell-bent that we're gonna keep that golf course. It's gonna be a part of this community. So none of you are any more convinced that I am gonna make it, but I wanna know how in the heck, I want y'all to team up and let's see how in the heck we're gonna keep it. I just can't believe that 20 people in Jeff Davis. And another thing, well, let me get through it, I'll hush in a minute, I want y'all to help me. Jay Woodard lives in town, that's one. Tim Calloway lives in town, that's 2.
Eddie's in town.
You know, there's only 4 or 5 of us, if it's that many, I went over it so fast, that live in town, the rest of them are in the county. The rest of them that play golf are in the county. And another thing, do you know that this little, I call it, and y'all forgive me, I'm going to hush now in a minute, because I like to speak up and shut up. Sometimes I don't do it too good a job, but listen to this. I call this little town our little milk cow. This milk cow produces little milk, talking about sales tax and everything. Do you know when it comes in down at the county, they take 80% of our milk and we get 20% of it? County gets 80% and we get 20% of the tax revenue, sales tax. If we didn't have our splotch and things, the little 20% we get, but anyway, you've heard enough of me. Now, my little harping don't do a bit of good. It's just, and probably some of you don't like to listen to it. Now, I've said my piece, now let me hear from y'all.
Want me to speak?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Linwood, to the mic, because I have to have this recorded.
Oh, Lord, I'm about to say that. Okay, to start with, I didn't know this was on. We really appreciate the job that David Haney did. He's been here a year and a half, February of a year ago. Golf course was basically in terrible shape. People call it the goat patch. That golf course today, from the time I've been here, 18 years, is in the greatest shape ever. I talked to people like Buddy Spann, the mayor, who have been there since the 60s. They say it's in the greatest shape ever. We've come a long way. We did initially spend quite a bit of money, the city did, before the golf course board was formed, for equipment. We have some of the finest equipment to keep up a golf course you can have. I'm not an accountant, on the expenditures for the $500,000, that seems extremely high that we have spent, and I'm sure that's got to be salaries and everything in the whole thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was a capital expense, like you bought a tractor or you bought this. They'll depreciate down, as Stephanie Sellers Flint is our kind of accountant for the board out there. So the capital expense that you put to buy a $50,000 tractor doesn't really go against your P&L for that year. So it really makes it look bad in the first years. The tractors go always be there until it wears out. So it's a little different. Now the revenue, boy, I have tried everything in the world. We have 4 corporate members. Is Beasley Forest, Fram Fuels, J. McPherson, McPherson Manufacturing, and the Jeff Davis School System. That's $3,000 a year that they pay. And what that does for a corporate membership is any employee.
Those 4 pay $3,000 a year.
Yes, sir. That's $12,000 in corporate.
Including the school board.
Including the school board. You got 4 of them at $3,000. So that's $12,000 as a corporate membership
And this entitles the employees and their spouses and children under 18 that still live at home to play out there at a member's rate, which means the green fees are paid for, and the cart rental is $5 per 9 holes. So $10 you go and play 18 holes of golf. The school system is mainly because you have the middle school and the high school golf teams that are there. I approached them about the first year they had the course was open. They hadn't paid anything, and they were using the golf course, and we were having to maintain it and keep it up for the tournaments and for the practice. So for the last 2 years, this will run out in May, and I'm sure they'll renew. They have paid the $3,000, so we've got it for 2 years. Their term expires in May. The Beasley, Fromm, and McPherson terms expire on December 31st, so January 1st, we'll have $9,000 corporate membership coming in. The individual membership that we've collected during this year, and this is January through September, is $4,845. And the corporate membership is $12,000, so that's $20,000 of it. The revenue at the course, and that's cart rental and green fees, has been $50,000. And then we started, I guess 4 or 5 months ago, a promotion sponsorship, and we've got the banner up there, and so thus far we've collected $2,200. We've still got a few kind of promises and pledges to try to get it up, but anyway, that's what it is, $2,200 just for promotion, and that is for us to help with I tell them when I went to them to get this pledge or money, it was to help with the irrigation, because you got to have water on that grass, especially in the summertime. And that's what we have done this past summer. Between the water and the fertilizer, the fairways and the greens in the greatest shape ever. Great shape. So, now to cut down expenses for at least the next 4 months through February till the time changes again. We have 2 staff members that Bryce started on day 1. Bryce, I can't remember his last name. Yeah. And Tony Biden straight after that. When David came there February of a year ago, he got them to work. They have learned. They take lots of pride in that golf course. Tony, as far as the fertilizer and the chemicals, knows more than probably anybody in this room. Bryce with the irrigation and electrical from Eddie Aycock that's on our board that taught him. We're pretty good on the irrigation and the sprinkler system. So with those 2, we're in great hands. And the mayor was talking about me and asked if I would assist him into just making sure that they're doing the things that need to be done correctly on a daily, weekly basis. David has left us with a list of what needs to be done daily, weekly, monthly, seasonal. I mean, he didn't walk off and leave us in bad hands, and he's only be a phone call away. He's assured us for any advice that we may need. So, we've done a lot of work. We've got to where we are. I know about $90,000 is about what it's going to be for these 12 months as far as revenue coming in. We're already at 70. We have another thing that's happening, besides the youth, with the middle school and the high school golf team. We've had a Fellowship of Christian Athletes tournament out there. They go around and get hole sponsors and all this to help them out for the benefit of them. And they have a golf tournament. The Sheriff's Department has one coming up in 2 or 3 weeks. A Shop a Cop, where they take the funds that they raise and carry kids to Walmart and buy Christmas, is basically what that turns in. The Rotary Club had one last year. They're going to have another one this year. And I'm not sure exactly what the Rotary Club does. The mayor probably could tell me better, but it's all for the benefit of the community. I know one thing was a $1,000 scholarship to a graduating high school senior. And then the Jeff Davis golf team has a tournament about the first weekend in December. Now they go out and get all this sponsor money from businesses in this community and area. That is what they keep. They pay the golf course like $25 a player per day. The golf course gets revenue from that, according to how many players. So that's a great thing to keep in the community. As far as me telling you we could ever make this golf course get in the black, I wouldn't put my hand on the bottle. I'll try to get it as close as we can in the years to come, but we've got this first initial expense we've got to work through that does make it look bad on paper. And it's all really, as we said before, when we first came up here, it's about the city taking it back over. Tommy Purcell was a great leader in taking this back over. He was out there working like Bryce. I mean, he was cutting grass, watering greens to get it started. And the deal was then, it was not like look at the golf course as an entity by itself, that you go make money or you go lose $50,000 a year. It's for the whole community abroad, outside of the circle of what a golf course looks like. As I said back then, you get somebody personal, or somebody going to be a private resident and they thinking of moving here because they're coming to work here, or a business that wants to relocate, and they drive by 221 and they see a grown-up golf course that nobody's playing on, they pretty much heading on down to Douglas or on up the road to somewhere else because it's something to do. So you have to get outside the circle. A golf course is great for a community. And it's great for the youth, great for the schools, great for these Rotary clubs, Fellowship Christian Athletes, Sheriff's Department. It's great for them to have a place to come to. So I know that I've worked as hard as I can. This board does, the mayor and the council have been behind us 100%. And we really think and really hope that you'll stay behind us and let's keep this golf course going. And that's basically all I have to say, Bill, unless you have some
Why
questions.
do we only have 20 members of the golf course in Jeff Davis County?
Yeah, individual members doesn't work for these corporations. It's not because they hadn't been asked, I promise you.
Golf club members, what can we do? We ought to have at least 100 members.
That's very possible.
Look at your corporate membership, like Fram, for example, has 120 employees. You know, Beasley's has several hundred employees.
It's
not more.
400, yeah.
You know.
How many of your Fram people do you think play golf?
Probably
10.
10. We probably have 15 to 20 at Beasley. McPherson, I don't think ever has anybody that's ever been there. But he does that for the good of the community. He realizes what the importance of having a golf course is for the community. He gave us a zero-turn mower that he had at his shop, you know.
We're here to try to, as a team, try to see what we can do.
Well, let me just tell you what I have tomorrow. There's, both golf courses are closed in Vidalia now. They've shut Hawks Point down, I guess, for good. There's what I call the Vidalia Blitz crowd after Rocky Creek closed. They go around the courses McRae, Dublin, Alma. I've had them already come here one time to play back in September. They're coming again tomorrow to play at 10:30. I'm going to play with them. Tim Calloway, we play with them sometimes out of town on Friday. And there's probably anywhere between 15 and 20 of them from Vidalia area. And I'm going to tell them about the benefit of an individual membership or a family, $300 for 1 year. Hopefully I can get 5 to 10 out of that 20 to join tomorrow. That's my mission for in the morning.
If I'm not mistaken, David has had several from Douglas, Georgia, just recently that has purchased memberships. So we're starting to draw more and more from other areas, and I think that will continue to grow, especially in light of what just recently took place in Vidalia. I think we've got something that we can be proud of, that I don't have a bit of hesitation at all inviting anybody to come play this course. 10 years ago, yeah, I'd say where you want to go, anywhere but here, but not now. So I think we've come a long way, and I think we've got granted a long way to go, but I think we're on the right path.
I've actually played with some guys from Hawks Point. It closed several months ago, and then they reopened, but I explained to them the benefits of being a member here, and their intentions is to come and be a member here. We're definitely starting to draw applicants in also, as well as the Hawks.
You tell them the intentions of our fund balance and stuff, so they need to come on and throw the money in the pot. We need it in the bank. Buddy, what do you think we ought to do?
We gotta keep it open some way. I've been associated with it for a long time, and it's a difficult situation to handle in a small town like this. But it should get better with the, towns surrounding us losing their golf courses. So some of those, when someplace is playing, we need to get them here. And that's probably our biggest, drawing card right now is to get these people from these other towns here. But, I remember what Linwood said a while ago, to make this golf course pay off, put it in the back is just almost an impossibility for a 9-hole course. And for any golf course now. There's golf courses closing all over.
Yeah, I know. Let me say to every one of you, and including us up here, we better, this group, better meet over with the county commissioners and get them to put something in this deal now. Now, it's not right for us little group right here. Most of the members, people are playing and all that. That's not correct. Now, we need to, en masse, go over there, because most of those people are not golfers. Do we have a golfer on the county commission now?
I doubt very seriously. You know, Ray Rooten took it over when John Turner gave up the lease from the city. He didn't take it over. He was the county commissioner.
Yeah.
He's what got there.
Yeah, I know it was a one-man show, and the show played out. I'm going to ask y'all to help us go to the county with this problem that we've got, and ask them to let's chip in and help us. And then I think we need to, this little list that Dave got for me today, of 19 or 20 members, this is pathetic. It's pathetic. Now, I think probably a lot of people going out and playing, I don't have the roster to sign in, but probably you've got at least that many more that are, how many would you say, Tim?
David can answer that better than I could, but I know like on the weekends, it's not unusual to have 25, 30 people. We run out of carts.
We run out of carts, and we got 24 carts,
Yeah.
2 people in carts, so that could possibly be 48 people. What I tell the people with the membership, and it's nice to get that $300 up front, you know, for a year, they'll come and play more. But I said, when you play your 3rd time in 1 month, you have saved yourself money. Or really, after your 2nd time in 1 month. So, you know, it's nice to get the $300 for an individual up front. That encourages them to play more. They'll get the $10, we'll get the $10 cart rental more, and the revenue will just increase.
Well, right now, and again too, and I know that you've been looking at the financial statements, and we've just started this, as you well know, in July. And all of the irons have not been worked out of it, and we've got some problems, but I will assure you, Tammy, our accountant, will get it, and it will be an accurate record of income and receipts, and it will be, the flaws will diminish as we go along. But for instance, right now, this year, in this budget year, July, August, up until this point, we've got $15,000. This, by the way, this is just through August. We've got $15,000 in salaries, and a lot of people don't realize this, Tony, I'm sure you do. Your health insurance that we pay for you costs us about $8,000 a year that we send to the insurance company. So on top of your salary, you and Bryce, your health insurance that we pay for you is $8,000 on top of your salary. That's a good, then workers' compensation on the group has been already $2,000. Listen to this. And here again, all the bugs haven't been worked out of our county getting this started. But I've got a record right here. It says equipment rental so far, it's cost us $9,000 for renting the equipment.
At 2 months, July and August?
Yeah.
That's including the carts?
Yes. Probably, I'm talking about big expenses here. So to make a long story short, it just, yeah. But the expenses for this period is $53,000. This period, and of course the total budget. And right now, they, according to what she's saying, that you should be expended 17% of your budget. But right now you spend 28% of your budget. But at any rate, we can hash this out all day. The thing of it is this group, including this council, is dedicated and wants that golf course to be successful. Now we've got to get off of our butts and make it happen. It's not going to just happen now. We're going to have to get involved with the community, with the commissioners and other areas. If we're going to keep our golf course, because the city can't keep swallowing this now, I'm telling you. As much as I love it, as much as I want it to be successful, and I'll be the last man standing fighting for it, and I'm telling you, if we don't change it, we're not going to be able to handle this. Now, we have got to improve it. Like Linwood said, and Buddy, we all agree that it's probably not going to be in the black. But we've got to get it a lot closer if we're going to swallow it. And that's the reason for us getting together, so we'll all look one another in the eye, and that we've got to go to work. And so that's what I'm pleading for, and I want your help, and I'll be there. I'll assure you, I'll do everything I can.
When we started and everything on this venture with it down the road, or back down the road a while back, we had talked also about possibly having some volunteers out at the course to take and help day here, day there, whatever, you know what I'm saying, people that could do that. Has that...
Mr. Buddy Spann worked on Wednesdays, and that's been it.
The youth has done a lot of volunteering out there.
Yeah.
A lot of it. They've, especially after the storm, they were out there. They were the first group out there blowing off the greens. And if you wanted to look at how much volunteer work is done, I think you'd really be surprised, because there's a lot that goes on that most people are not aware of.
Right.
I went a couple of times, but I admit that in the last number of months, I haven't done much, but when we got more people on staff, I kinda eased out, but,
I mean, I'm just asking, maybe just...
The school system guys have been great in coming out and cleaning up.
Where is that?
The middle school, they needed, jerseys, shirts to wear. It's over a year or so ago. Stephanie sent out a thing, they need $600 for the golf team, so they didn't have to wear their shirt from home. They wanted the Jeff Davis thing. 24 hours later, we had the $600. And then me and her were talking, and I said, let's don't let these kids think that this is just a gift horse and everybody will get it. Let's have a Saturday work day. Her, Nita Herndon, the golf coach, remember what his name was at that time, they're out there with their equipment and all, like Kawasaki things, you know, and they're out there and they pick it up, pine cones, limbs, raking, all on a Saturday. So I would call that volunteer community involvement.
All right, let me mention this too. Now, I was out there, and Tony, I didn't speak to you at the time, but I'm sure you looked at the schedule for the next period of time. Tony and Bryce have worked out, and the council has it in front of them, so that from 8 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the afternoon, that we're gonna, those two men are gonna cover that thing. The golf course is closed on Monday, but, the other, 6 days, these two gentlemen have worked out a schedule alternating back and forth. Or one can have one Sunday off and then the next. And, but the schedule is here if y'all would like to look at it. And they're gonna be out there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they're gonna be out there at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 days without any overtime. Now, that's commendable, this work schedule. And with it being fall and winter, now then, club members. I certainly think Saturday and Sunday, we ought to have enough volunteers, so forth, to be around, around the course to help. And how y'all want to work that out, I don't know. But these men, I think, have done a good job of being there to take care of things. This is 2 full-time employees, and I commend y'all, Tony, on that schedule. And I want to get with you and talk about it a little bit more. All right, let's hear from y'all some more. We got, I like to start on time. What is it? Hold on a minute. Any other golf club members got anything they want to add to this?
The only other thing I want to say is that your youth are getting a lot more involved in the golf course. You're having more and more players. My son goes out there every day after school. He and Josh Harrington both, they're on the high school team this year. You've got a lot of middle schoolers out there. The youth program is growing considerably from what it was 2 years ago.
On that's 60 hours a week that the course will be open. 10 hours a day, 6 days. Each of them works 40 hours. That gives them 20 hours for both of them to be there at the same time. And we do have the prison labor still coming. It had been coming on Monday. I asked Tony, I said, who says that? And he says they show up at Jeff's place, is that correct? And Jeff tells them where to go. They come 4 days a week. And I said, well, if he tells them to go to the golf course on Monday, wouldn't it be just as easy to tell them to go to the golf course on Tuesday and go somewhere else on Monday when they're there? And then Tony and Bryce could both be there. They don't run any equipment, but they could be moving limbs, they could be weed eating ditches. Tony and them could be running the mowers or the tractor and having them cleaned up in front of them, and that would be a day for both of them to work with the prison labor.
You have a little problem there, Linwood, in that the requirements with the prisoners in a populated area, say if you have several golfers out there, that gets to be a problem sometimes. But at any rate, we'll see. We'll work on it.
Oh, with the course being open and then being
a lot of people, that gets to be a problem. But
well, okay.
There's a lot of specifications in our contract that we signed with the Georgia Department of Corrections, and that is one of the things.
I think we've hashed it out enough. The thing we need to do is go from $100,000 deficit to 50 this year, and a little better the next if we can. But I think we shoot it out enough. We all know where we need to go, so let's go where it is. All right, let's move on. Thank you, Linwood.
Thank you.
All right.
I have a question.
Okay.
Linwood, you asked me, and I think Tim asked, I've had Jay Woodard ask me and several times about getting monthly reports on expenditures, and I've passed that information along. Are y'all getting those?
No.
Well, we just...
I don't know what else to do.
Well, it's just, I mean, no, on expenditures, no, not exactly, because I'd had Stephanie look at it. I couldn't figure it out.
Well... And
it's just like the mayor just said in July and August, what figure did you say, $13,000 something we just took in? So we keep our own records out there, David does. We have an itemized deposit of what we do every day, or every time that he drops it in the box. It's itemized under green fees, cart rental, memberships, and promotion sponsorships.
We're not communicating well, the two of us, like we should, and we're gonna have a spreadsheet that we both will use, that y'all will use, and we'll use the same sheet on a daily basis, and some of these discrepancies are being worked out. Tammy's working hard on it. She's just got this thing transferred over to an enterprise by itself, and I'll assure
Okay.
you, our two records will meet
Match,
soon.
okay.
And we're working on it.
All right, let me just say, I've been looking for that well over a year, as all y'all know, and it still hasn't been done. And, y'all can do a better job at being the golf committee if you know, get a financial picture of the golf course. There's
Oh,
no
yeah.
question of it.
No doubt.
And I hope that maybe next month we'll get it. But I've tried.
Yeah. I know you did, Tommy. We thank you for what you did as a go-between and the startup guy, for the golf course.
Okay, thank you, buddy.
Okay.
All right, council, we're back to our agenda again.
Excuse, sir.
Pardon?
Can we be?
Have a seat, we'll be through here in a minute, and we all together. If I got to stay, you see somebody slipping out. All right, look here, hold on a minute. Council, we've got item 11, the water and sewer adjustments, the, garbage and trash report, the check register. Can I get a motion that we approve those three items?
Offer motion.
Mr. Johnson made the motion that we approve 11, 12, and 13. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bloodworth. Any discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it's carried. We got any citizens' comments? Okay, we've got mayor and council. Y'all got anything that's burning on your mind? Mr. Johnson?
So move, let's go home,
Mr.
y'all.
Johnson moved that we adjourn. Is there a second? Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
See what I